the Millionaire Imprint for Women. This new radio show is about imprinting wealth for women, inspiring women of all ages to heal their karmic debts, to transcend the shame of poverty consciousness that women have lived with for centuries. It's time for women, for you, to have a new relationship with money, to radiate wealth from the inside out. We are creating a ripple effect, empowering millions of women to claim their inner wealth. Join Susan, Samantha, Momo, and Kornelia Fridays from 1 to 2 on the Kornelia Stephanie Show at Transformation Talk Radio. Are you in? Hey everybody, welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, the Millionaire Imprint for Women. I'm here with Susan Glavin today, and have we got a show for you? Right, Susan? My goodness.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Have we not been totally changing the game for the last, we've been doing this for a long time, but most specifically changing the money story and changing the money game. And that's what we're here to talk about today, because you chose this fabulous topic of changing your story and really opening up to receive the immense abundance that's available to us. However, it depends on, are you allowing it in, and what story are you telling, and what's your conversation like, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have a million stories, love, that's for sure. And I uncovered one in the last couple of days that's pretty juicy. But before we go into that, for me, I think it's really important to kind of recap how I got here and what I feel is really important for people to know from my perspective, and definitely take what works for you and leave the rest. But so for me, we talked about, the first call was about our energy leaks, how we allow our, putting things off, things that we feel are wrong or not working, okay? And that we're focusing our beautiful, juicy energy on those things instead of having the energy and focus on creation. So a lot of times we're walking through life, just in a chaotic state, not really being very deliberate about how we're using our energy. And a lot of that has to do with the leaks that we have, putting things off, not having the conversations that we need to have, not cleaning up our money energy. If we owe people money or people owe us money, all those, there's so many little things that we leave behind and that take our valuable energy. So there we are, just open into whatever life brings us, and really not being deliberate and conscious about what it is we're creating on our journey. So that was something that we first talked about that I think is a key thing to do before we do just about anything. And then we talked about, our words are our wand. And that is like, words are so generative. We're literally creating our life with our words. And it's so funny, I hear people all the time that go, oh man, this job is just killing me, or this schedule is just killing me. And it's like, whoa, do you hear what you're telling yourself, that it's actually killing you? Or, or things like, things just don't come easy to me. I have to work really hard for everything I got. So those really debilitating words that are generating that over and over and over again. So for us to be really conscious and
another one that I hear a lot of times is, I hear people say, shame on me.
Oh. And
shame
how much time
on you? Can you imagine shame, putting shame on someone? Because what you're bringing out is reminding us of is how powerful our words are, how powerful our energy is. And if we're, saying something negative like that, it is just as powerful as when we're saying something positive. So rather than saying shame on me, shine on me.
I like that one. Shine on me. I love, isn't that true? And it's so funny, because as children, how many times I heard that, shame on you. That was kind of it was like an automatic back when I was a child, shame on you, shame on you. It was like, I didn't even know what the shame was, but I knew that the energy didn't feel very good.
Yeah. And I bet that's a belief that's running for a lot of people, that's
Oh,
still
honey.
running. And that's a story that they're still, and then they're going, then shame on me,
Yeah, it's so wow. And that's where you really got to feel about the vibration of words when you feel the word shame. Feel that.
And shame is really the lowest vibrational energy on the planet. It's like tar.
Yeah, I'm like going, ooh, like that, like, okay, let's shine on me. I'm like, whoa, but I could just feel that, like in my whole vibration. It's like, wow. And so again, they're generative, they're creative, they're so energetic. So for us to really be again mindful, what are you speaking? It's so important. And then and then I talked about interrupting those habitual thought forms, and we have them, and it's not like they're bad or wrong. They're there, and we do have a choice. We can have mastery over those, where we can interrupt those. And we talked about, the go-to mastery mantras. One of my favorites these days is everything I do creates tremendous success. It's one of my faves these days. I'm like, oh, I love it. So it's like, I don't care what I'm doing. I was having a beer last night and having a little celebration, and I was sitting there, and now sometimes the mind goes, oh, well, what are you drinking for? Or what do you do? What's that piece of chocolate cake you're scarfing on? And, we have those patterns running that say, oh, this is wrong, this is bad. And I'm like, oh, everything I do creates tremendous success. And that beer was creating tremendous success for me last night. And it was so great when I got the bill. $44.44.
Yay!
I had to laugh. I was by myself, and I was like, woo, in my little chair.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, so it was beautiful. But so again, having those go-to mantras for yourself, whatever they are, make them really simple and easy so that you can do that. When I'm judging people or thinking people have those, we all do it, and it's okay. But one of my favorites too is I have kind and generous thoughts towards others. That's when I interrupt that with, and then, I have all the money and the resources I need for whatever I need and desire whenever I have that lack thought coming.
So Susan, I love those reminders and the recaps of the particular shows that you brought to the Millionaire Imprint. Now, are they available on your website, by the way, where people can see them? Or
well, they will be soon, sweetie.
Okay.
Actually, because this is part of the Modern Day Mastery course. This is something we do, and we actually start filming the 1st of December. So we will have those modules available for everyone. So yes, it's going to be there.
But I'm talking about the shows that you did here. The shows that you did.
Oh yes, well I will get those up. They're not up there yet, but I will get those. But I know they can get them through Transformational Talk Radio.
Yeah, and you can also go to my website at KorneliaStephanie.com, because there's under the radio, there's a widget there, and that's houses all the shows, and you can look at all the shows that Susan did, and where she talks about your money energy leaks and your powerful words and your mantras, and where she gives the recaps of what she's talking about right now. And those are some powerful shows that we've had in the past.
Yes,
so go back and watch those again.
Yeah, I'll get those. I got my great web gal, Savannah Rose, that's gonna take care of all that stuff for me. Just love her. So so just wanted to recap, because I think that is so important to bring all those into focus again. And then of course our daily practice. How are you setting up your day? Are you getting up at the alarm and sleeping through it, and then jumping out of bed in a rush and hurry, grabbing this and that and running out the door? If that's your day, that's a pretty chaotic way to start your day. And I can pretty much guarantee that chaos is going to continue out throughout your day. So for me, it's really important to, set my intent for the day, start being in that creative process. I have wonderful things. As a matter of fact, on the 11/11, I did this beautiful 11 intents that would shift my life. That were absolutely, I just sat there and I did them beautifully in all these beautiful colored markers, and so it was really fun. So I read those every day. There's certain things that I read every day so that I can really strengthen, those neurons in my brain. So they're getting fatter and juicier and they're like, yeah, we got this. So that building is kind of like going to the gym and the muscle thing. We've all heard this, but it is so true that we can actually build those energetic frequencies in our entire body to start bringing that in, letting that come to us, to magnetize that to us. So yeah, that's something really important. But and then today's, show, what I haven't talked about is our stories. The stories that we say silently in our heads, because we do that. We have these stories that we run and we're making them up all the time. We're making things up all the time. I always say, instead of doing that, write a fairy tale, because you're doing the same thing. We're writing these stories in our minds and our thoughts. And it's so funny. I catch myself and I'll laugh and I'll go, well, that was a good one. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Because we're very creative. We're very creative beings. So it is like, what are you creating? And I think what's even more important than that is, what are the stories that you're telling other people? I think that is really extremely powerful, because when you talk from a place of being victimized, or my life never works, or my relationships, it's never right, I never get the support I need, I never get the love I need, I never have the money I have, blah, blah, blah. You're actually creating that story and someone else's listening, someone else's frequency. So they're carrying that victim story with them about you. Which I think is so, so powerful to understand, for people to realize that, so that every time they think about you or they see you, what comes up for them is, oh, poor thing, she just can't get it right. Things just don't work out for her. So you're creating this over and over again with all the people that you come in contact with. So again, our stories are really powerful and potent.
And you're going to tell us a fabulous story that you unearthed this week, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. We're going to take a quick break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I'm with Susan Glavin, and your words are your wand. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Janet Hickox, and I want to tell you a little story about a story, and how my friend Kornelia Stephanie helped me through to the other end of that story. I have gone from the dark of a story I was telling myself that wasn't true, to the light of optimism, to see my way out of where I was and to where I want to go. And it all started with her scheduling a session for me to help me reclaim my money, or my financial empowerment. Up until that point, I had been telling the story that my business was dying, that my business was not successful anymore. And the more I tried to figure out what was going on, the worse I felt about it. And when I had to get ready to do the session with Kornelia, she asked me to go look at the numbers and where I was through the year to date. And then also to come prepared with a number that I wanted to raise my income to. Well, I was quite comfortable with that part, right? I knew where I wanted to be. What I wasn't comfortable with doing is going and looking up those numbers. But I made myself do it, even though I tried to backpedal my way out of the session. She didn't know that, but I was going to try to get myself out of the session. And I looked up those numbers. And it was incredible that I discovered through that process that my business wasn't dying. In fact, I was doing 12% better than I had the year before. So I was shocked. I was shocked literally at the power of the story that I had been telling for months. But more than that, I was shocked that I had allowed myself to get there. And later in that day when I had my session with Kornelia, she pointed out some very obvious things like, how are you going to get where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go? How are you going to get there if you don't have the goals written out, if you don't have it set up so that you know where you are and where you're going to go? Totally makes sense, right? And I had been in business, somebody else's business, as a sales manager for years, and I was a national sales manager. I had awards for sales management. I had business awards because of numbers. And yet when it came to doing my own business, I totally forgot all that I'd ever learned. So by the time Kornelia, working with me in just one session, got me to look deeper at the numbers and where did I want to go, and actually, claiming where I wanted to go, I was filled with a sense of optimism and hope like you can't believe. It was like everything shifted for me. And I am so looking forward to our continued sessions to see how far I can really push myself to get where I've only dreamed of being, where I've never taken the dream and actually brought it into concrete existence. So thank you, Kornelia, for the work that you're doing out there. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see where I go from here.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We're here with Susan Glavin, and she's about to tell us a wonderful story that she unearthed this week that she discovered. And she said, this is a story that we all do it. So tell us what took place.
Oh gosh, this is so good because so we'll just start from the beginning, which was, I think it's been 7 years now. I divorced my husband. And at the time of the divorce, there was a lot happening. There was a lot of stress and there were all kinds of court stuff, but not with us, but with financial stuff. Because at that time, we had been multimillionaires, and then we were multimillionaires pretty much overnight. So when we're in divorce court, sitting there getting ready to finalize the marriage, the judge kept saying, now, the women in here, if you need spousal support, it all depends on how many years you've been married. So I just want to make that clear. And he said it like 3 times while I'm sitting there. And I remember thinking, wow, 25 years, that's some pretty good spousal support. That's the thought I'm having. I'm going, no. And here's what was happening for me at the time. It was, I felt extremely guilty for leaving him. Okay. I had a lot of guilt about it. And I just was really working through that. And another thought that I had was, I can do this on my own. I know I can do this. I don't need his support. I don't need his support. Well, we did it. The divorce was final, blah, blah, blah. And during that time, he, became very successful, and it did very well because he usually is. He doesn't have any money. His money programs are pretty hot. They're pretty great. And so I remember in the back of my mind when I was having these challenges and struggles with finances and, going through those, what I call those great initiations, in life. And I remember the thought kept coming up, man, boy, you sure could have used some of that spousal support now, right? And I used to tell people, well, I left, my story was, I left and I'd left with nothing. And people were like, oh, you left with nothing? And I go, yeah, because, I felt guilty, and I knew that I could do it on my own, blah, 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 blah. So, and I kept thinking, I was in this place of, I was feeling really scared. Okay. And I thought, okay, what would be one of the most fearful things for me? I called it my die zone, the dead zone. What would be one of the most fearful things for me to do? And what it was to actually reach out and ask him for help. And I was like, oh my, and it was my heart, just the thought of it, I just was in a cold sweat just thinking about it. I thought, well, this for sure you need to do. And I did, and I remember after I sent it out, and it wasn't even like at the time that I wanted It was just the action of doing it that was going to be so powerful for me. I knew that. And he responded with, well, how much do you need? And I said, he goes, is this personal? I said, no, it's more about my business, blah, blah, blah. So that went on. And he said, well, as soon as Taylor, my daughter, gets out of school, we can revisit that. Well, that's been a little while now. So it was so great. And just a few days ago, I thought, I just hired this video guy, and it's, there's a lot of expenses for stepping out and doing what you want in the world. So I thought, well, I think the best thing to do would to be, asking for the money, but make it a loan. Just have him loan me the money, and I thought that would work. That would work. So I remember sitting there again, a little scared about asking, and I said, okay. So I sent the email out and I said, hey, Tom, blah, 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 this is what I'm doing. And I would really appreciate a loan, which that's the only way I will do this is through a loan. And, I can pay it back over a period of time. Well, he sent back a text that said, no. And I was like, what?
He said, no, he's going to give it to you instead.
No is a complete sentence in this case. No.
Oh my.
So it was like, no. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. And then I had all these feelings like, oh God. I was embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, I can't believe him with all all I've done and didn't get hit, all that conversation kept rolling through. What? I thought he was generous and blah, blah, blah. And I was just had all this stuff going on. I was just like, oh my God. And then when I worked through all that and I came to a little place of peace around it, I went, okay. And it was just yesterday or the day before, the insight, the gift of that no came to me. And it was this. There's a story all little girls are told. And that story is, your Prince Charming is coming and he's going to save your ass.
Mm.
Okay? And that story had been running underneath that story, like in the background. He'll save me. Even though I'm no longer married, it's like we've got this really deep-seated program running for a very long time. Look at all the fairy tales. Mm-hmm. Look at it's always your prince is coming and he's going to rescue you. He's going to make it all better, honey. So you just chillax and let him take over. Right? And I was like, and I was just elated. I'm not kidding. I was elated to discover that story has been running for a very, very long time for me. And I would assert for many women on the planet today that story is running. So what a gift. No kidding. It was like this energy. I'm telling you, it like went boom. Like I stood in a new place. It was like a new, extremely powerful and place of such certainty about how competent I am and how tremendously successful I am,
right?
And who I am.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
It was just truly profound for me. And I can't thank him enough. I mean, it was out of, isn't it wonderful how loved and supported we are on this journey, even when we think that this is all messed up, and that's another mantra I have. Life is always working on my behalf, even when it doesn't look or feel like it. Mm-hmm. And let me know in that moment when I got no, still, no, I was like, what? But again, being someone that is always looking for the gift in every experience in my life, that gift revealed itself.
And I think that's right there is the key, being someone that's always looking for the gift, because in any situation that we find ourselves in, we have the ability, the responsibility to claim our power, no matter what is playing out. It doesn't matter if it's what the situation with what you just went through with that story, with any story. If we get angry and we're projecting angry feelings out into the world, and we're continuing on that victim story by giving our power away. But when we can find the gift, no matter what the gift is, no matter what the situation is, even if it's a health challenge, it doesn't matter what it is. If we can claim our power back through that experience, then we're empowered. Then we become self-realized in truth, because we're living that experience. Now, I personally don't agree with you getting a no. I don't like it. Honestly, I understand the story. I understand the whole thing, but because, I belong part of my SheEO community, and the SheEO community is really about assisting women to start and fund their businesses. And that's really to really embody a new business model. And women have not had the support that they need in order to get the equal balance and have the funding of what it is that they need in order to become successful. Me personally, I had to struggle with this myself, simply because my business has been the spirituality personal development business. I wasn't doing anything else in order to supplement my income. So it's been very, very challenging over the years since I really, went into this field, into this line of work, to stay true to my passion. Because again, that is also the gift, that no matter what happens, that you still stay true and you don't sell out no matter what happens, because it's what you came here to do, right?
Right.
So I think it's a situation where, you were gifted with this opportunity to claim your power. But I would like to see the money come in from somewhere else then. If it's not going to come from there, I'd like to see the money come in from somewhere else to support you to do what it is that you need to do now, because that's really what it's about. It's also about receiving and being able to receive the support that we need. And so this is where I stand with that.
And it is done.
It's done.
I know that. It's like, it was, when that happened, it was like there was no doubt whatsoever, I will be totally taken care of.
Isn't it almost like to where you could actually sit back and have a good laugh that happened?
Exactly. It's like, yay. The vibrational shift that happened for me in that moment when I got it, it was profound. And I knew everything was taken care of. And I'll share another little piece when we get back about another fabulous story I have.
Good. Then we're going to go take a break and we'll be right back. Thank you for listening.
My name's Bob Skeel. I'm 91 years old, and I want to take a few minutes now to share with you the important role, actually the critical role, Kornelia has played in my life. I say critical because I'm not sure I'd be alive at all to the many possibilities that make up our human experience at my age, if not for her. I could have easily become another dead man walking, only half conscious, stumbling through my remaining years, if it hadn't been for Kornelia. 6 years ago, I lost my wife to Alzheimer's. We'd been married for 61 years. I never thought I'd be a widower, but there I was, suddenly lost and alone, but with the good sense to set a working goal for myself. I was going to spend the rest of my life committed to unconditional love, whatever that meant and wherever that took me. A year or so later, Kornelia came along, helping me over several years to focus that unconditional love where it had never been focused before, on me. My whole life, my entire being had been focused on love of neighbor, and I had derived great satisfaction from that. But in the process, I had ignored the second part. I love your neighbor as yourself. Now it was time to direct that love inward. I didn't see that right away, but Kornelia did, and she drew me there. She drew me actually to God. Through many conversations over coffee and after numerous, sometimes tearful, agonizing discussions, Kornelia was able to lead me, kicking and screaming, to within where I needed to be. It was there finally that I was able to re-identify myself. It was in bringing unconditional love to myself that I now saw myself in a new light, a fully conscious, worthy human being, capable of healing, loving, and creating in my own right all these gifts of the evolutionary process. I'm a new man now, younger as I get older. I don't move as fast as I once did, of course, but my smile is quicker and I engage the heart and mind of others more readily. I would likely not be at such a wonderful stage in my life if not for Kornelia. I owe my new life to her, a wonderful friend and a constant source of inspiration. Thank you, Kornelia.
What a juicy story you told us, Susan, in a way that you claimed your power by being told no by your ex, that he's not gonna support you. And then you got the gift. So way to go. Congratulations. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I didn't realize that story was running so deep. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm very thankful. Like I said, I was just telling you, I think I'll send him a thank you card. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll see him later tonight, so it's great. We have a really good relationship, it's good. So, and then another great story that just happened to me when especially around money, it's always about feeling secure, right? We need to be secure, and that's a big deal for many, many people. It's from our root chakra, that sacral chakra, like I need to be secure with my life and who I am and what I have. So, my journey is, this next year is to really step into and be in what I love to do, which is inspire and support others in being the greatest expression of who they truly are, to really embody their mastery and their magnificence. Okay, I love to be a witness of that. And it's like the time is now, okay? It's like it's clear to me. The time is now, sister. It's now time to just take the leap and do it. So where I work has been a great platform. As a matter of fact, it's been the platform for me to really get clear on what's needed in the world. And so I've had this great opportunity to actually created my course out of being in this environment, which really served me well. And my lease is up. It was actually up last month. And my intent was to go into the new year and, start transitioning into this new place, transitioning my clients and, having it be really easy and graceful and have it done like that. And the gal that owns the salon, she never deviates from the lease structure. Okay, that's not something that she does. So, and what happened was come October, and she never said anything to me about the lease. And I'm like, well, fabulous. I'm thinking, well, this is great. Coming into November, nothing. I'm thinking, well, hell, this is all in alignment. I'm just going to cruise through until I need to, and then I'll just transition and it'll be this great thing. So yesterday, I get a call. Well, first of all, I want to back it up a little bit. So I'm in my meditation.
This is good. This is
good. Yeah, let me back it up again. I'm in my meditation. I'm in this beautiful place, and my mother comes, and she says, "Hey, you." And I just, I'm like, "Oh, Ma," and I had this beautiful conversation with her, and it was like, we got your back. I'm here. I'm your biggest cheerleader, right? Blah, blah, blah.
You have to tell everyone that your mother is no longer
living. No longer here. Yes, she's no longer here. She passed many years ago. And so I get done with it and I'm like, oh, that's so great. And I have part of the course is I have these love letters that we write to ourselves at the end of the course. People put their address on there and I take them and they're on my altar. And I was sitting there and I looked, I thought, oh, there's some letters that need to go out. So I pick up the stack and it's this huge stack now. And I shuffle through and I close my eyes and I just feel it. One flips out and I'm like, okay. And I'm looking and there were a couple more that needed to come and I'm going, okay. And I put them down and I look at the one that flipped out and it was mine.
Oh, nice.
Right? And I want to read to you what it said. It says, my dearest Susan, you amaze and dazzle me with your vibrant presence and light. This is your time to lead and deliver those who are here for your guidance and message. All shall be given and delivered to you. Trust that your life's mission shall be fulfilled to the greatest heights. Blessed are you to be among the many and not shy away. Stand as the master creator and be that which you've always been, miraculous and magnificent. And it says, we love and adore you all. And then here was the thing that just made me cry. It says, your biggest cheerleader. And that was my mom had just been. And it was like, oh, and I just got this deep, like, I got you, right? So then I'm all like, whoa. Oh, I'm in this great, just vibrating at such a beautiful way. And I get a phone call from Allure Salon. And I pick it up. Hi, Aim. She goes, you know what? Your lease is due. And so we need to set a time today to sign the next year's lease. And you need to bring the money in for the insurance. And I'm like, okay, Aim. Hang up the phone. I'm standing there going, holy Lord. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My mind's going, here's this, oh my God, you're not ready yet. What do? You have no lease. Oh hell, what if she says you got 3 days to, all this stuff started going through my mind. It was like, you wanted to transition to and it was just a scared, like my whole life and security was on the line. Okay. It was just like, I was just like, oh my God, what are you going to do? And then my heart said, you don't want to do that. You don't want to sign it. You want to sign a 6-month lease. You want to transition out. That's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the intent is. That's what you said you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I immediately picked up the phone and called back. And I said, Amy, I need to talk to Amber about my lease. So is there any time today that we can do that? And she goes, yeah, it looks like around 4 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. And I was telling you, I was like, and all of a sudden this release, there's something that happened that I went, that was the truth. It was like that was the deliberate choice for you. That's right in alignment with what your heart says and what you want to do here. So I went, great. And then, and then I said this, and I'm going to say this very slowly so that you all can write this down, because this is something that I've been saying for a long time. And I think after my experience with this, I truly integrated this quote, which is, as I advance, and that means advance. That doesn't mean stroll or walk. That means advance confidently in the direction of my dreams and desires, and endeavor to live the life I have imagined. I will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. And I said that out loud. And in uncommon hours means now. It doesn't mean through linear time, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It means in uncommon hours now. So I said that out loud like that. I was like, okay, this is it. It's done. You're confident. You're certain in this. This is your path. This is what you're here to do. You know this. So I went to work and it was great. It was light. It was super, and I just had this, I was okay. It was so great. It was like, no matter what, it was okay. And so our time came and we went into this other room and I said, I want to know if you'll allow me to sign a 6-month lease with the possibility of maybe going part-time after that. And she looked at me and she said, normally I would say no right away. And she says, but for you, I always have to wait. I have to take a pause with you. And she said, I need to think about this. And I said, okay, great. That's awesome. Wonderful. She goes, what's happening? I said, well, the course I'm leading. She goes, yeah, what's going on with that? And I said, well, and I told her about retreats for resorts. And she was just like, oh my, that's amazing. That is so amazing. That's wonderful. She's hugging me. She goes, yes, I'm going to say yes. We can do this. We can do this. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but I want you to know it's a yes. And I was like, oh, hell. Like, so, embodied in that quote. Like, yes, it's done.
Yeah. And actually, this is the reason why you are your word.
Yes.
So every single word, where before, let's just say if you would have said that quote 2 years ago, it was something that was just, quoted out in the mental body.
Yes.
That was spoken. But you have now come to a place in your evolution where you now own that word, and you now are that word to the point where you don't even really need to say it out loud, because you already are it. It's from that point, you already are vibrating at that frequency where you've now taken yourself to in your reprogramming. And that is your new story. Those are words, those are constructs that you now vibrate at, and that you are now, that was your choice. That was your choice, not the choices that you, the conditioning where you were born into, the undoing. But you actually now own those words. And so everything was just click, 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 click. And then, and you being calm and at peace and feeling confident and certain with your choices and where you are, and knowing that the universe has your back, that God has your back, that you are in that vibration, and that everything is working out for you because you said so.
Right.
Because you said so.
I had my mom there.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knew it was coming.
That's such powerful work.
Good.
That's so good. It's like, it's good. This is really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, the juicy good.
Yeah. I just want to skip the break now. That's how good it is. So let's just skip the break, Susan. Let's just forget about it. And let's just continue on.
I love it. Yeah. So there were many, and it really was the courage. And I had a woman tell me, I had an Akashic reading. It was so interesting because she was on Janet's show, and I just happened, and I plugged in and I went, there's something here. And it was amazing what she said to me right at the beginning of the call. She says, damn, girlfriend. She said, you have done a lot of work. She goes, I want to commend you on that, because a lot of people would have stopped and stayed in that circle. She goes, and you didn't. She goes, and I want you to know you have risen to the top now and you're ready to go. And she said to me, and it's taken a lot of courage for you to do that. And I started to laugh. I says, well, on my website, it does say we all have a destiny, but not everybody has the courage to follow it.
Yeah.
Which to me is so true. And that moment, as I stood there and picked up the phone, it took that courage again to stand in what I know is my heart's desire, what is my truth, and why I'm here. And I'm so committed to bringing that to the planet, my message, for those that are here to hear it, because there are people here to hear that message.
And being paid very well for it.
Oh,
like a millionaire would. So, the same way it's like when you were talking earlier, when Tony was in the courtroom with you and how he was always very successful and the money was always there. And yeah, and I want to say for the masculine energy on the planet, that has been the case for millennia, for a long time. That's just the story that we have had to live with. And that's the reason the Millionaire Imprint for Women is changing that game, changing that story, so that now the new story is that we are being paid our value, we're being paid our worth, we're owning it from the inside out, from our deep roots, that we are wealthy and we know it, and we're not going to tolerate and settle for anything less than the truth.
This is correct, honey. And there's a beautiful, I was in, I love Kundalini yoga. It's one of my favorite practices. And they were talking, it just came out, and when she said it, I was like, oh hell. I was like, "Ah, I love that. I was like, I love that. And I wanted to bring this forth now because it says, what is your energetic frequency worth? Oh, right? I was like, I'd never looked at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had never looked at it like that. What is my energetic frequency worth? Well, you know what? It's priceless. My energetic frequency is priceless because I know who I am. I know what I bring to people. I know what I stand for on this planet. I know my commitment. And I'm like, that is priceless. That is like so, so valuable. And yes, I'm ready to receive the value of my high frequency on the planet.
Absolutely. You have to be able to take that in, and not everybody is ready for that level because they just haven't done that inner work, like the reader said. And they just haven't done the inner work yet, and that's all. And it's really coming in the right relationship with who you are, so that you can receive that highest form of light, that highest abundance, that highest truth, and the highest wealth. And with that comes a level of responsibility. It comes that responsibility. You said it earlier, the daily practice. What's your daily practice, and how well are you being an energy steward with your energy, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I would ask all the listeners and people that aren't even listening, because I know this goes so far beyond that. Believe me, I know what's happening here today. Is if your frequency isn't at the value that you want it, then up it. Then up it. Do whatever it takes for you to feel really vibrant about and to radiate you, and whatever it takes, whatever you need, ask for the support you need. Ask the unseens, the people that are all here to support, your angels, your guide, the ascended master, you name it. Ask them to support you on this journey and guide you to the place that will support your vibration radiating at a much bigger place, so that the value, the tremendous value that you radiate out into the world is coming back to you exponentially.
Right.
You can continue to do your work.
Yeah. And it literally, it has to be from the place, like you were talking earlier, your survival was at stake. And that's the reason why people stay in, toxic jobs.
Yep.
Or why they stay in toxic relationships, because, especially if they've been in a marriage and the husband has been the breadwinner and the woman doesn't have any support, doesn't have any income. Now she's really being asked to own her value, own her worth, and all of it has to do from the inside out, because it's all frequency, right? And not to stay in a job that's sucking the life force out of you. So doing that work, that's part of what this whole series has been about, is really clearing the ancestral lineage, the stories that we were born into, and shifting your relationship with money, getting really, really conscious about what your habits are, what your patterns are, and then offering incredible, incredible tools from all of us who've been there. We've been there. We've walked that walk. And now we're vibrating at a different frequency where it's going to happen very, very fast.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's gonna go quick. It's gonna go
uncommon hours, baby.
yeah. It's gonna go quick. And this is the time. This is the time we've been waiting for. The magic is here. It's in you. You are it. And I love the what is your frequency, the value? It's not measurable. You cannot measure it. How can you measure the frequency of source?
Right. How can you? And it's cool because we do measure things as humans. So if you're going to measure it, what is it? And if it's not up to par for you, then bump it up. And what I'm saying is, if you think, I don't have enough money, I don't have the money that I need when I need it. I don't have the money, doesn't come to me when I need it. All the beliefs. What are some more beliefs around money?
I have to work too hard for my money. The running out. Here's the other thing that I'm
running out of money. So if you take money out and replace it with energy, I don't have enough energy. There's never enough energy for me. And look at how much energy is around. That's all there is energy. So if you want to just take the money out of it, because that's what it is pure energy. Take it out and replace it with energy. Like we don't have enough energy. We have all the energy we could ever want.
And you know what? There's another insight to this. And that is, it's so true with everything that you said. When you're coming from a place of, I don't have enough, you're operating from the core wound of I'm not worthy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not worthy are the feelings that you're going to release of I'm not good enough. Those are the feelings that are going to come up for you.
Yes.
The feelings of it's not enough. I don't have enough money. I'm not enough. He's not enough. That's not enough. It's not enough. And I can tell you right now that even rich people have the feelings of I'm going to run out of money. I'm going to run out. And even people that are rich. So because we have to, at this stage in our evolution, we have to embody the truth. And the truth is in our root. The root is I am worthy. Right. And you have to have an emotion that feels that I am worthy with a thought that's attached to making choices based on that value, based on that worth through the experiences that you're having every single day of your life, right?
Right. It's amazing. Yes. And those worthiness to really build that neurotransmitter in our brains of worthiness is to do those things that are in alignment with our heart. And it takes courage to do those things. But every time you do it, it gets easier, it gets stronger, because there have been times when I felt like I wasn't going to survive that took me to my knees, and I still did what needed to be done. And that strengthened me for the next time. And every time I would do it, it would get stronger, and I would be more embodied. And it was more, yes, you are that worthy, that everything supports you.
Yeah.
No matter what. And it's walking in that integrity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really being true to ourselves. How many times have we to thine own self be true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This has been a beautiful show, Susan. It's been incredible to be here with you today as we're embracing our magnificence and opening wide to the abundance that really is already there, and that's flowing into our experiences for all the people that are ready to receive it and do that magic work, right? What is it that you want to leave our listeners with today before we close up? We've just got about a few minutes before we're ready to go.
I just want to tell you, I just want to embrace you with how amazing and worthy you are. I want you to know that you would not be on the planet right now if you were not. I want you to know you truly are a master here, and you came here for a specific purpose and reason. And I just want to bless you deeply, that you will discover and walk that journey in grace. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you can find out more about Susan and her work. You can go to susanglavin.com, And then do you have a gift for our listeners today?
I have a gift that if you would like a 30-minute free consultation with me on how to be empowered in your self-mastery, I would love to have a conversation with you about that. And you can email me at susan@susanglavin.com to set up that appointment.
Wonderful. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you so much for all the love that you are. And we'll see you again next time on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. Thanks, Susan. Bye, everybody.